Exdensur, depemokimab, wins FDA approval for severe asthma treatment. GSK. Issued, London, UK. For media and investors only. Download, PDF, 234.3 kilobytes. https://www.gsk.com/media/5AUBXRCF//C-Exdensur-approved-by-us-FDA.pdf. GSK plc, LSE NYSE, GSK, announced that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has approved Exdensur, depemokimab, as an add-on maintenance therapy for adults and children aged 12 years and older with severe asthma characterized by an eosinophilic phenotype. This FDA authorization of Exdensur rests on results from the SWIFT-1 and SWIFT-2 phase 3 studies. In these trials, depemokimab delivered sustained reductions in asthma exacerbations with 2 doses per year, in addition to standard of care, versus placebo. Specifically, depemokimab produced a 58% and 48% relative reduction in the rate of annualized asthma exacerbations over 52 weeks in SWIFT-1 and SWIFT-2, respectively, rate ratios 0.42, 95% CI 0.30 to 0.59, p less than 0.001, 0.52, 95% CI 0.36 to 0.73, p less than 0.001. Exacerbation rates per year were 0.46 vs 1.11 in SWIFT-1 and 0.56 vs 1.08 in SWIFT-2, depemokimab versus placebo, 1. In a secondary endpoint shared by SWIFT-1 and SWIFT-2, depemokimab-treated patients experienced numerically fewer hospitalizations and/or ER visits due to exacerbations, 1% and 4%, compared with placebo, 8% and 10%, respectively. A pre-specified pooled analysis of the 2 trials showed a 72% drop in clinically significant exacerbations requiring hospitalization and/or ER visits over 52 weeks with depemokimab versus placebo, rate ratio 0.28, 95% CI 0.13 to 0.61, nominal p equals 0.002, AER depemokimab 0.02 vs placebo 0.09. Across both studies, depemokimab was generally well tolerated, with side effect rates and severities similar to those seen with placebo. 1. Kaivan Kavandi, SVP and Global Head, Respiratory, Immunology and Inflammation R&D, GSK, commented, U.S. physicians now have a durable option to shield patients with severe eosinophilic asthma from exacerbations using just 2 annual doses. Exdensur could redefine patient care and expand the role of biologics for patients who continue to experience exacerbations despite treatment. Depemokimab is an innovative therapy designed with an extended half-life to sustain suppression of type 2 inflammation with twice-yearly dosing. 1. This unique profile may improve patient outcomes while easing the burden on health systems. Approximately 2 million Americans live with severe asthma, and about half of them still suffer frequent exacerbations that can lead to hospitalizations and elevated healthcare costs. 2. For while biologics have shown benefits for severe asthma, only about 20% of eligible patients in the U.S. currently receive one, increasing their risk of exacerbations and disease progression. Longer dosing intervals are associated with greater patient acceptance of biologics, and 73% of physicians believe this would be advantageous. 6. Jeffrey Chupp, MD, professor of medicine at Yale University, said, many current biologic treatments for asthma are underutilized, and frequent injections can burden patients and lead to inconsistent use. There's a clear opportunity to provide longer protection between injections for severe asthma, potentially reducing healthcare utilization. Exdensur could empower doctors and patients to reach treatment goals with fewer injections. Tonya Winders, President and CEO of the Global Allergy and Airways Patient Platform, added, the struggles of people with severe asthma are immense, with ongoing symptoms and exacerbations. An innovative option like Exdensur that offers long-acting protection with fewer doses is genuinely welcome. Depemokimab has recently received marketing authorization from the UK's Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, and earned a positive CHMP opinion in Europe, with a decision expected in Q1 2026. Submissions are under review in other regions, including China and Japan. About severe asthma. Severe asthma is defined as asthma that requires medium to high-dose inhaled corticosteroids plus a second controller, such as a systemic corticosteroid or biologic, to remain controlled, or that stays uncontrolled despite therapy. Type 2 inflammation underpins the pathology in over 80% of severe asthma cases, with elevated eosinophil levels. About Exdensur, depemokimab. Exdensur is the first ultra-long-acting biologic being evaluated for select respiratory diseases driven by type 2 inflammation, such as severe asthma. Its extended half-life enables dosing twice yearly. Prescribing information. https://gsk.com/content/dam/global/hcp portal/inus/prescribing information/exdensur/pdf/exdensur% sign E2%, sign 80%, sign A6. About the SWIFT trials. SWIFT results were presented at the 2024 European Respiratory Society International Conference and published in the New England Journal of Medicine. 1. SWIFT 1 and SWIFT 2 enrolled 382 and 380 participants, respectively, with severe asthma, who were randomized to depemokimab or placebo in addition to standard care, medium to high-dose inhaled corticosteroids plus at least one other controller. In SWIFT 1, 250 were in the depemokimab plus SOC group and 132 in the placebo plus SOC group. In SWIFT 2, 252 were in the depemokimab plus SOC group and 128 in the placebo plus SOC group. 1. About the depemokimab development program. The Phase 3 program includes SWIFT 1 and SWIFT 2 for severe asthma, an open-label extension, Agile, and Anchor 1 and Anchor 2 for chronic rhinosinusitis with nasal polyps, CRSWNP. Depemokimab is also being studied in Phase 3 trials for other type 2 inflammation-driven diseases, including OCEAN for EGPA and Destiny for HES. GSK has initiated Endura 1, Endura 2, and Vigilant trials evaluating depemokimab as an add-on for uncontrolled moderate to severe COPD with type 2 inflammation. 14. About GSK in respiratory. GSK continues its tradition of pioneering work to set new standards in respiratory medicine, aiming to improve outcomes for hundreds of millions living with respiratory diseases. With a leading portfolio of respiratory vaccines, targeted biologics, and inhaled therapies, GSK seeks to advance care for asthma and COPD, as well as less common conditions like refractory chronic cough or systemic sclerosis with interstitial lung disease, leveraging cutting-edge science to modify disease processes and prevent progression. About GSK. GSK is a global biopharmaceutical company that unites science, technology, and talent to outpace disease. Learn more at gsk.com. Forward-looking statements. GSK cautions investors that any forward-looking statements in this release involve risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ materially from projections. Factors include those described in the Risk Factors section of GSK's 2024 Form 20F and Q3 2025 results.